Everyone, welcome to the part 2 of sewing a half circle dress. I'm going to place this right on the right side of this. I went ahead to pin the cape to the bodice. Then I'm going to place the lining on it. Right now, I'm going to stitch everything together on the neckline. I'm going to do that using 0.25 seam allowance. Start with a reverse stitch. After sewing the neckline, I'm going to cut notches on the neckline. I'm not cutting through the stitches. After doing that, I'm going to flip my lining to the back, then press, or before that you can decide to make a tiny edge stitch here so as to conceal the lining inside. I'm going to flip the lining to the right side. I'm going to flip it to the right side this way. I'm going to stitch it to the side. I'm repeating the same thing at the other side. I'm stitching by 0.5. The next thing to do now is to reverse it, turn it inside out. I'm going to take it to my ironing table to press. I've ironed it, but because of the weight of the polo on it, I'm going to top stitch it. Top stitching is just making a tiny edge stitch around your neckline here. Your neckline raw edge is facing the lining parts. This helps to make the lining stay inside the dress. I'm not going to be showing outside the neckline. I'm going to make it stay in place. I'm going to further press it now so that it can stay in place. Yes, now I have the neckline stay in place. I further place hemming gum on it so that it can stay well. Now it's time to tape the bust darts. 1/2 inch, which means taking by 1 inch each side. Then when I'm about 1 inch getting to my bust points, I'm going to stop it. Don't back stitch your darts. Just tie it twice this way, then cut instead of back stitching, because the edge of the darts should be tapered out this way without rumpling together. Any darts you want to sew, make sure that the darts is well taped out, like pencil this way, so that when you flip to the right side of the darts, it's not rumpling or squeezing. It's just well tapered. I'm going to stitch the waist dart now and go to the ironing table to press it. So when I measure here now, I'm going to have the same thing I have at the side of the back. After taking in my bust darts, I have to confirm that my side length is the same thing I have at both sides. Okay, I have 7.25 both sides. I'm equally going to confirm it at the back bodies to be sure that they will rhyme by the time I want to stitch them together. Okay, now I'm going to take in my waist darts. I already notch my waist dart position. I'm just going to secure that with a pin. Press both darts after stitching. I'm going to repeat the same thing at the back. So this is what I have after ironing the back neckline. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to open the lining and flip the lining to the right side. You know it's facing the wrong side before. I'm going to flip it to the right side. Then I'm going to stitch both sides. Let's start from the zipper allowance. I'm going to stitch it straight down with 0.25. So this thing. Turn it out this way. Give it a good press all around. Then tape in your darts. Now that I've pressed the darts open, the next thing to do is to attach the front and the back together. I'm going to use the back lining. I'm going to make sure they are aligning. Then I will use the back lining to turn the front lining, the front bodies this way, making sure that all the 4 pieces of the lining and the bodies are equal. Then I'm going to stitch by 1/2 inch seam allowance that I left at the shoulder area. I'll repeat the same thing on the other side. This is what I have. Can you see? I'm going to repeat the same thing on the other side. I'm just going to give it a good press and fix the sleeve. Now it's time to fix the sleeve. I have a separate tutorial on how to cut the sleeve on my channel. I'm going to first align the sleeve to identify the front sleeve from the back sleeve. So now that I identified my front sleeve and the midpoint of my sleeve, I went ahead to place chalk on the midpoint of my sleeve. Then this is my front sleeve that is more inward, that goes inward than the back sleeve. I already labeled it front. The next thing to do now is to match the notch of my front sleeve. This is my front sleeve. Match the notch at the midpoint of the sleeve to the shoulder of the dress, making sure that the front sleeve that is more inward, can you see that I've labeled it, is towards the front of your upper bodice. So I'm going to just pin it down and stitch it. Now that I'm done with pinning it, I'm going to stitch it all the way down. The sleeve matches the bodice properly without having any excess. I'm just going to repeat the same thing at the other sleeve and stitch down. I have a tutorial on how to draft a perfect basic sleeve on my channel. You can check it out. I'm stitching with 1/2 inch seam allowance. After attaching the sleeve, I'm going to overlock the stitch with a zigzag stitch to finish the raw edge of the sleeve neatly. There are various finishing techniques you can use to finish the armhole of your sleeve or your garments neatly. I have a tutorial on how to finish the armhole of a dress with inspired binding. You can check my channel for how to neatly bind the armhole. After making the zigzag stitch, I went ahead to give the sleeve a very good press. Make sure that when you are pressing your sleeve, you press it towards the sleeve so that it's going to relax nicely. Now it's time to place our measurements. The waist measurement is 36 divided by 2. We are going to have 18. Make sure you are stretching your fabric when you are taking the measurement. 18. Our 18 is here. So you measure the remaining. We have 2.5. So 2.75. So divide this 2.75 into 2 to get, okay, we are going to have 1.4. So 1.4, I'm going to transfer the 1.4 to the second side so that I won't have to take it all over again. As for the bust measurement, the bust measurement is 38. 38 divided by 2, we are going to have 19. So stretch it and place your 19 here. 19. Measure the remaining, then mark. We have the same value, 2.75. So we are going to place 1.4 here, then 1.4 at the other side also. 1.4. Our sleeve open is 12. Divided by 2, we will have 6. So I'm going to place my 6 here, then flip it like this at the other side, and place my 6 here. Place my 6 here. Now we are going to connect them together. Connect to the waist, then connect to the guts. The sleeve will be smart. And then turn it. Alright. Then let's take it to the sewing machine to stitch. Can you see that? We are going to start with the back stitch to lock a stitch. If you take note, you'll see that the back and the front bodies are matching each other effortlessly. If you want to sew the armhole region, make sure that the seam allowance of your armhole is facing the sleeve. Don't stitch it. Don't let it face this side, the body side when you are stitching. Make it to face the sleeve so that your customer will be able to raise their arm. If it's facing the body, they may have difficulty raising their arm. I'm going to flip the other side and stitch same way. You take note of the sleeve also. You see that the sleeve and the body, they match each other. The sleeve is not bigger than the body. The body is not bigger than the sleeve. If you draft your sleeve well and draft your armhole on the bodies well, you are going to have everything rhyme without having unnecessary stress. It's very important. So now we're going to lock our stitch. Very important. When you're starting a stitch, make sure you lock it and ending
because
it as well.
I decided to incorporate side pockets into this lower skirt, I decided to split it into 2. I increased the radius by 1/2 inch, but if you want to do that to your own, make sure you add your side seam allowance plus your zipper allowance to the normal waist circumference before cutting your fabric. Hem the lower circumference of both the front and the back lining. Then I laid the lining on each piece to tidy up the raw edge of the side seams.
Now I have hemmed the lower part of the lining of the lower bodies. Then I've equally stitched the sides and pressed it. What we are going to do now is to join the lower bodies to the upper bodies. But because I'm going to incorporate pockets into the side seam of the lower skirt, I'm going to rip some parts of the upper body open. I'm going to rip it open right now so that I'll be able to join the lower skirt to it. I'll do that quickly, just about 1 inch. But if you are not going to attach pockets, or if there are no side seam on your lower skirt, all you have to do is to match the midpoint of your half circle skirt to the midpoint of this body and just join it round. Just join it round from one zip allowance to the other round. That is if you don't have opening at both sides of your skirt, you're just going to mash it round and stitch it round. But now that I have opening at both sides of my skirt, I'm going to rip a little bit of this closing at the side seam. I'm going to rip it open and join my skirt. I will attach the front skirt to the front, while I will attach the two I cut for the back to the back. I've ripped up the side seams. After doing that, now fold your upper bodies into 2 equal halves like this. The front especially, fold the front of the upper bodies into 2 equal halves by mashing the side seams together. Then just for you to get the midpoint of the upper bodies, then place a notch there. Just simply cut the midpoint just a little. Do the same thing to the lower skirts, midpoint of the front, and this is the midpoint of the lower skirt also. I'm going to match the notches and I'm going to pin them, then align them, make them match and stitch by 1/2 inch seam allowance, because that's the seam allowance. Both that and the front must be backing the side seam. It's time to stitch the back lower body. I've placed a notch at the zipper area so that I can identify it from the other side. I'm going to match the zipper area at the back to the zipper area of the upper bodies as well, and stitch with 1/2 inch seam allowance. What I'm doing right now, I'm stitching the upper bodies to the lower bodies. Repeat the same thing at both sides of the back. I'm going to leave about 17 inches at the back, or 18 inches at the back. Start stitching from here to close the back seam so that I'll be able to control my fabric. Closing the back seam by the same allowance I left. Close it by whatever value you left. It's time to close the side seam. We're going to align it properly. This seam, send it downward, then pin it down. I've done pinning both sides. I'm going to layer my seam allowance across. I have one inch left here. I'm going to layer it. So from here to the 1.5. So 1 inch left. You're going to layer your 1 inch from here to here. Then from here, you are going to move up inside the pocket stitching by. You're going to move inside the pocket stitching by 1/2 inch and mark it. Note that you are not going to stitch this piece. So right from that place, measure your 1 inch inward. 1 inch inward. Then we are going to stitch it straight down by our same allowance. Then from here also, this is where we start stitching our pocket from. Measure 1/2 inch inward as well. 1/2 inch or 0.25 inward. Then along that place, measure your 1 inch. This is the 1 inch one. We're going to stitch it around. It's time to stitch the side seam closing. Start seam allowance now. Then you throw 1/2 inch into the pockets. Then after that, you are going to drop your needle. Still drop your needle, don't raise it. Then just turn this way. Just turn this way. Then you're going to stitch the pockets around with 1/2 inch or 0.25, depending on how you use it. I'm stitching the pockets around. Use 1/2 inch or 0.25 to stitch your pockets round. When you're done stitching your pockets, you can decide to interlock it or further lock it with a zigzag stitch so that your pockets will not be leaking. So now we're going to stitch this pocket into the pocket by 1/2 inch now. Into it, then stitch off. Drop your needle. Lift the foot to face, then drop your needle to the same allowance you have been following from up here by 1 inch. Repeat the same thing on the other side. Next thing to do now is to hem the lower circumference of my gown round. I'm done hemming the lower circumference, and this is what I have. I've also pressed it neatly. I'm going to fix the zipper in a separate video because this video is already too long. Therefore, I'm going to do that in a separate video entirely. Thank you very much for staying tuned. I hope you enjoyed the tutorial. If you do, please make sure to give me a thumbs up, share, subscribe to my channel. Bye.